All right, welcome back. We're going to take a look at doing some numbers on some basic construction deals here in the Lower Mainland. So let's just start off. We're going to base this on the west side of Vancouver, and then we'll go outwards from there. The less land cost means less cost to build, and just as much the profits are going to be about equivalent. So the math just makes sense across any area of the city. And this is why construction goes up all the time, everywhere. This is basically what the builders are and developers are making a profit. So let's just going to buy a basic lot to build a duplex on. So one of these nice little modern duplexes. Cost a lot, old style building, the west side, 1.7 million plus $800,000 to build. It gives us a full price of 2.5 million. We're going to be able to finance 75% of that. So that's $1.875 million going to be able to be gone through and financed through construction financing. So we're just going to have to put down the 25% down payment, $625,000. Property purchase tax of $32,000, lender fee of $37,000, and then interest rate is going to be prime plus between 1% and 4%, depending on your credit rating. So that will average that out to about $75,000. Next up, we're going to fully build it out. We're going to go to the market and sell it. So future value of the duplex, each side, is going to be $1.5 million. So $3 million total value, 1.5 times 2, $3 million, minus $1.875 million cost, minus $32,000 property transfer tax, minus lender fee, minus interest, minus real estate commissions. So you got to sell each one of $89,000. It gives you a net gross profit of $890,000 after all is said and done. So confirm your individual capital gains tax as well on that. So let's take a look at what the base numbers are. So we came in for $625,000 down payment. Our net profit was $890,000. So we get our $625,000 back, plus we get an additional $265,000 back as well. So basically that's about a 43% return. So that's kind of why it's very profitable to build duplexes in Vancouver and in the North Shore, in Surrey, and out in Abbotsford. It's basically quite profitable to do it as many places as you can, because that's why developers and builders make about a 43% return. So that's pretty good. But let's actually just compare that to not finding a duplex lot and building a duplex. Let's find a single family lot and build a single family house. So if you want, you can build a suite attached to it and kind of make it a sort of a duplex, which your buyer will appreciate because then they can qualify for mortgage easier to buy it from you. But let's just take a single family house and build a new single family house. So tear down an old lot and put down a new property and sell it. Let's watch what happens to the math here. So the cost of lot to buy it, $1.2 million, and plus $650,000 build cost gives us 1.85. We're going to be able to finance 1.3 of it, or 1.4 required to finance, but we still have to come up with $462,500 down payment. So we're able to do that. Property purchase tax of $22,000, lender fee of 2%, it's $27,000, interest prime plus. So that's some interest costs. Let's build her out and watch what happens. So we build it out. Future value of the new home is now $2.2 million, again on the west side, something nice. Minus 1.3 in cost, minus 22,000, minus 27,000 lender fee, $40,000 interest, and then $63,000 for the real estate commissions. And then we still, after all said and done, we're going to net out $651,000. That's just finding an old lot, tearing it down, building a nice brand new house on it. And these are going up all over the place here in the west side. So basically, it was 43% to build a duplex return, and net profit $651. You got your $462 back plus an additional $188,000, $189,000. Works out to about a 41% return. So that's why developers are tearing down houses and building new ones. This is what they're doing. They're making 41% of their money, and they're just churning it over and over and over again and doing it again and again. So that's basically how developers do it. Let's see if we can join in and make some of those profits for ourselves. So the best way to do it, in the ways I always like to teach, is use other people's money, OPM. So the next part of the presentation is 10 strategies to use other people's money. What no money down actually means, and what it does mean is that it doesn't mean there's no money involved. There's always money involved. It just means that the bank and an investor or a seller or multiple banks are contributing all the money, 100% of the money into the project. It just means you're not putting money out of your pocket, your own personal pocket. So if the money is needed, you're just borrowing it from an investor or bringing an investor in as a joint venture partner. So that's what we mean by no money down. It just means no money out of your pocket. There's always money involved, everything. There's always banks involved. And there's always lawyers involved. So just want to make sure that that's clear. What's the catch? Well, usually with these types of strategies, the seller has to be very cooperative and work with you. And there's usually the person qualifying for the mortgages has to have really strong income. So that's your joint venture partners. If you need someone to qualify, if you have bad credit and you need someone to work with, that person is going to have strong income because they're going to be able to qualify or be on the hook for qualifying for the mortgages. So that's usually the catch. So as long as you can overcome that, you can do deal after deal. So let's get started. So first off, so how it basically works is how the strategy works and then an example of how it goes into effect. So the first one is called a marketing or referral arrangement. And so I'll let you know what that is right now. So how it works, what you need to know, why it's good, when you should use it, an example. So first off, you're going to look around to find a buyer or a seller lead, say a friend of yours or someone that you know. Then you go off and find a real estate agent and or a mortgage broker. And basically, they want access to that lead in order to help them out. So if you find me a buyer, I'm a licensed agent. So if you find me a buyer, you find me a seller. Hey, my friend is interested in selling their place. I'd love to introduce the two of you, and you guys can go do a deal. Basically, I'm able to contribute back either a percentage of the deal or a flat fee or a similar way of compensation. So you bring me a lead, either for a buyer or a seller, and I compensate you back. So it has to be disclosed. There's forms, and if you're an agent listening to this call, there's certain forms that go through the brokerage. Your managing broker will let you know what these are, and so fill them all in. Everything's disclosed to the buyer and the seller. Everything knows everything. Everything's in writing. All passes through. So that's just a marketing or referral fee. Very clean and simple. It's a way to ultimate no money down because you're just introducing one person to another, and you get a little fee. You can't do it as a full-time job. But you can occasionally, every once in a while, you have a couple of friends that are interested in buying or selling. Hey, I can help you out. Next up is putting down a small amount of money, getting a property under contract and flipping it. So this is called tie up and flip. So this is how this strategy works. So first off, you want to find a home or a landowner. Again, we're developers, so a landowner with property that has latent potential to it. It has ability. It's not at its what appraisers call highest and best use. So it's an old rundown property that's the city allows townhouses to be built on, or an old rundown property that is the city. You can tear it down and build a duplex, or it's commercial property and it has an old rundown property on it, or a land that just came back out of the agricultural land reserve. So these are a number of different areas where the city has decided to just change the zoning of a property, and then so you notice this because you're paying attention. I teach you how to do all this stuff. You notice that property has latent potential. You get it under contract. So you go to talk to the seller, to the person who owns it, and so a couple of different ways to do it. One of the simplest one is just put a purchase contract, and again, legally obligated in Canada to get a property under contract. For a contract to be valid, has to be a minimum of $2 down. So I'll show you some examples. It's usually $100 in this industry, how it's often done, but you can do it for a minimum of $2 down. So once you have that property under contract to purchase, you add some value to it. You can either apply to rezone it. You can package it up. You can do some rental guarantees. You can do a bunch of different things. I'd add different sorts of value to it as well. You do that. Then you assign that contract to either a new buyer, a developer, or a builder. And they say, okay, that's a really good deal. And they write you a check at close for whatever, $5,000, $10,000, $50,000, $100,000, $1 million, whatever it is. They just say, okay, this is a really good deal. You've got it under contract. You've added value. Here you go. And they compensate you, and then they just assign the contract from you. So they basically just take over the contract. Clean, simple. Get $2. You get the nice thing is you get your $2 back. So you just assign it and off you go. So there's two other ways to do this. One is called double close. Another is called a skip transfer. And I'll go over what those are next. So this is what's called wholesaling in the real estate investing industry. It's called wholesaling. So basically, it's exactly the same it is in real life or in other industries. You buy something at a low price, you add value, and you sell it at a higher price. You don't just assign the contract. You actually get the property under contract, and then you either purchase it through a double close, so you buy it, you pay property transfer tax, and then you sell it at a higher price. Or there's a strategy called skip transfer. Basically, you get it under contract, then you find a new buyer for it, and then the property transfer tax skips over you and goes to the final buyer, and they pay all the property transfer tax. This is very common in option agreements. So I'll teach you all about how to do that strategy. And so basically for this, you're going to need, lawyers are always involved, and then contracts. You're going to need the proper contracts to do these as well. So that's just a little caveat on the strategy, but basically clean and simple. You don't need any money down. You just get something under contract that's a good value, find a new buyer for it, and off you go. Again, no money down strategy number 2 and 3. This is an example of us implementing, me and my former business partners, implementing this strategy. So tied up 5 positive cash flow coach homes out in Surrey. These were under construction, so we got them under contract for $490,000. We put there's 5 of them. They were not fully completed, so we got them before they reached completion stage. We just went to the developer and said, "Hey, we'd like to buy these, and we'd like to find buyers for them. Could we get them under contract?" And he said, "Yeah, sure." He gave us a good deal. We put down $100 on that one, so not quite $2. But we went out, found investor buyers for all 5 of them. They all sold within 35 days. And in turn, we netted our net profit. We sold them for $535 a piece. So bought them for $490 times 5, and then sold them for $535. We added some value. We did some rental modifications to make them a little bit nicer to rent. And so they all, we made about $75,000 profit. So each investor who bought these at the time received $1,500 a month positive cash flow. And right now they appraise for far higher than $535. They're appraising right now about $680 to $700,000 right now out in Surrey. So it's a nice little deal. Again, put down $100 and we made a nice little profit. So we wholesaled. Next off is very simple model. It's called a secured line of credit. So basically, in this one, you're going to borrow some of the equity that you have. You're going to use the bank's money. The bank's going to give you money. You're going to take that money, and then you're going to go buy another property, and it's going to, or do a development deal, and it's going to be profitable enough that you're going to make enough profit to pay all your costs of your line of credit, and even potentially paying your line of credit right back if you're doing a development deal and getting your money back. So this is how it works. If your home's appraised value is $1 million and the mortgage you have owing on it, the debt, is $200,000, you basically have equity of $800,000. So you're allowed to borrow about 65% on a line of credit of the value of your home. So 65% of $1 million is $650,000. $650 minus $200,000 remaining from mortgage gives you $450,000 that you can now use to invest. You can also borrow an additional 15% if you want to push it as a second mortgage and pushing your loan to value up to 80% of your property. Interest is usually prime or prime plus interest only, so very cheap. You just pay, if it's 3%, you just pay 3% on a year. And again, the key with this is to buy an asset or do a development deal or something which pays back your line of credit. Do not go buy a boat. Do not go buy a car. Do not go on vacation. That's not the purpose of this. You're going to be using this money because it's a tax deduction. The interest you pay is a tax deduction. You're going to be using it for investment purposes. So that's how to use your line of credit. If you're lucky enough to have $1 million house, you can take advantage of this. And again, it's all the bank's money. So you're not using your own money. You're just using the bank's money to do a deal. Next strategy number 5 is using the seller's money. So this is working with the seller and having them contribute some money back into the deal, stay into the deal. So let's say land is valued at $300,000. This is similar to a deal we did a couple of years ago. Land is valued at $300,000, and then there's $300,000 of construction costs. So you're going to need 25% of the down payment, and then the rest is going to be coming into a 75% loan to value mortgage on land and construction costs. So 25% of $600,000 is $150,000. The bank will give you a mortgage of $450,000. Ask the seller to hold a second mortgage for X amount. $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, whatever the seller's comfortable with. Oftentimes when sellers sell their property, they take the cash and they go put it in the bank. And again, I mentioned earlier, they earn 0.85% return or interest. So this is a lot more effective strategy for them to do because you can pay them 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12% interest only for a 2-year term, 1-year term, 5-year terms, whatever you want to do. You can amortize it as long as you want, make the interest payments as low as you want, but you get the seller to hold some paper, hold a second mortgage while you go do the development deal or the development. So basically the seller contributes a large, if not the majority of your entire down payment for you. So that's called seller financing. Next off is joint ventures. So all the deals we've done in the past have been joint ventures. Basically, you can joint venture with the seller and have the, just like I explained, the seller can contribute the down payment. You can work with another developer. Find an awesome deal, bring it to another developer. I'm just doing this exact strategy right now. Find a really good deal, bring it to another developer, and they do the deal. They can kick you in. They can pay you as a bird dog. They can pay you as a referral fee, or they can bring you in and you can get it to 5, 10, 20, 50% of a deal. However much value you provide, you'll get rewarded for that. The builder can do it. So the builder who builds out can do a joint venture with you. You can joint venture with other investors. You can joint venture with your end buyer, and we'll explain how to do buyer financing, and etc. There's so many people you can joint venture with. And again, I'm using the term legally joint venture. This is not a partnership. A partnership is where two parties bind each other. So it's called a legal partnership, and it's a legal term. So in this situation, we're going to be using a joint venture agreement. I'm going to suggest you chat with a lawyer to put those types of deals together. Again, all the 30 plus deals that I've got under my plate and the 100 doors we flipped with my partners, that everything was done through joint venture agreements. So it's all legal and done properly with lawyers. Next up is down payment provided. So this is strategy number 7. And this one, it's very similar to a profit or a seller financing, except the seller comes in for a percentage of the profits and not just an interest payment. So they come as an equity partner. So you basically find land or a homeowner that wants to sell, has equity in their property, and is open to creative terms. You negotiate, they're going to provide between a 20% and a 100% down payment or a profit sharing agreement with you. You're going to match them, second part, with an investor or an end buyer with good credit who qualifies for at least a 65% loan to value construction mortgage. So then you're going to split the profits, whatever you want it to be. So that could be 50-50, could be a 30-30-30, or 33-33-33, could be 45-45-10, whatever you put in the deal together. Someone's going to be qualifying for the mortgage, someone's going to be providing the down payment. So you just split the profits. So I'll give you some examples. So again, the $600,000 land plus construction cost needs $150,000 down, $50,000 in soft costs, all provided by the investor or the landowner. We're going to sell it for $800,000. We're going to have $30,000 in sale costs, or $30,000, and then so that's construction. And then we're going to net out $770. Cost is $650, so $120,000 net profit. Again, for you, you're just putting the deal together. No money, no credit needed by you. So that's called down payment provided. And again, the seller, their option is to cash out all their money and put it in the bank and earn 0.85%, which is what banks are paying right now in GICs. Or they can, again, 47% of people in Vancouver, in the city of Vancouver, who own homes, own them free and clear. They bought it 10, 20, 50, 30 years ago. Now their own home is owned free and clear. They have 100% cash and equity in it. So they have lots of money to contribute for a down payment, or leave it in for a down payment. Next off is strategy number 8. So this is a pre-sale and buyer financing. So your buyer is going to buy it from you. You're going to get a lot under contract with an option agreement. I'll show you how to do that shortly. Buyers, you're going to advertise for a buyer. Buyer's going to come along and want you to act as the home builder for them and build out the house. So the buyer is going to give you between 5 and 20% down payment up front. They're going to use their line of credit or use cash or savings, however they do it. They give you the money up front. You're going to use that money as the down payment to arrange construction financing. And there's actually 2 programs that are very good for this. One is called CMHC, Progress Advance Program, and then the other one's called Genworth, Progress Advance Program. So you just go on this website, homeownership.ca, Progress Advance Program. It's to help you to help clients build a house for themselves, and then they get it paid for over time. So you can do as little as 5%, 10% down to purchase a new home construction financing. But you're a developer. What you do is you use these buyers to arrange the financing for the property. You sell it to them at a profit, and you just put the deal together. Next off, strategy number 9 is increased appraisal. So this is going to be how it works. So basically on this one, this is deals we did. This is our final development project. We did 5 of these. So this was the 5th and final house. So the construction cost on this home was $615. Land was $300. Build cost was $315. So $615. Banked an appraisal once it was finished of $800,000. 80% of $800,000 was $640. Bank lent $640. Difference between $615 and $640 is $25,000. At completion, we got $25,000 cash back. So obviously, even if the lender won't finance the property based on appraisal price, after completion, you can complete and then refinance it at full appraised price. So that's basically how it's done. You get cash back at close. Developers do this all the time. Next strategy, the last and final one, is strategy number 10, option agreements. So if you've ever seen drawn down Canby Street, you've seen these all over the place, called land assemblies. An agent or an investor gets a couple of people that want to sell their property. They package them up together, and then you go to rezoning. Rezoning to the city, get it rezoned, and then it goes up in price, and that person makes a profit. So that's called land assembly. Lot severance is you take a lot that's zoned to duplex but has a single family house on it. Basically, you go spend $2,500 to get it the lot split in two by a surveyor. Then you take that and go sell it, bring it to the developer, and you sell it for a profit that far exceeds your $2,500 cost. So that's called lot severance. You basically take a lot, cut it in half, and then a guy I know did this in Burnaby. He bought I believe an $800,000 house that was on a lot that was able to be cut in half and built 2 duplexes on it. So house with a suite, basically. So he cut it down, took that house, tore it down, built 2 more, and he ended up making about a $700,000 profit over the build out on the 2 properties. So not too bad. It's a pretty good pretty good return for your $2,500 investment. Next is rezoning. So you find something, go through the rezoning process, add value, sell it for a profit. And again, lawyers and contracts are needed all the way through. So I'll give you another final example on that. This was a number of years ago, and when the Canby corridor, just the rezoning had just happened. So one of the other real estate clubs I belong to, one of the members, said, okay, there must be opportunity here. So we went down to the area that has been rezoned, knocked on a couple doors, and said, hey, I'm interested in buying your place. Would you be interested in selling it to him? And they all 4 of them said yes. So he went up and tied 4 houses up with a purchase contract. He didn't know what to do with it because it's just an idea he had, and we learn about it in various clubs. And so he said, okay, just implemented it. So he went and took this purchase offer to a developer and said, hey, I'm interested in selling this. What do you suggest I do? What do I do with these guys that want to sell? The developer looked at the math, looked at the places, what they were actually worth after rezoning, what the person had it under contract for, and they wrote him a check for $1 million. So not bad. He made $1 million in a couple of weeks' work. Because it was more work for the developer to go do this themselves, go tie up the properties, get them under contract, than it was for them to write this guy a check and have him walk away. So this was right before the properties appreciated. So obviously what the guy saw was going to happen actually happened. Properties in the Canby corridor and Granville used to sell for $1 million. Now they're selling for 2 to 3. So obviously he got a $250,000 bump, what's called a bump in our industry. You got a $250,000 bump or lift across 4 houses, $1 million. Not bad for knocking on a couple of doors. Pretty cool. Yeah. All right. So how we do our main business and how I like to put together real estate development deals is using a corporate structure. So you start from using paying corporate taxes. So small business corporate taxes in BC are 15%. Then you put it together a leverage of a real estate development deal. So I just told you the math. If you have the bank will loan you up to 75% of your land cost and your construction cost. You add those 2 numbers together, the bank will loan you 75% of that. And then the property will be worth more in the future. Remember, it was $600,000 on one project, was worth $800,000 after completion. So then you can make that you can put down 25% of the $600,000, which is actually less than 25% of the $800,000, the final value. So that's what's called leverage in a development deal. And then make it scalable using a venture capital funding model. So we'll go over that another time, or in one of our personal presentations. So basically, all the deals that we do, we like to structure them within a tax-free savings account eligible corporation. And I'm going to suggest that you do that as well. So for TFSA information, obviously talk to us. But if you can understand a corporation that you own shares in, a Canadian-controlled private corporation that you own shares in, that does a development deal, and the profits flow back to you, and if they flow through your TFSA, it's going to be tax-free by definition. So this is a way to structure a development deal. All right, so that's I'll wrap up there for a bit, and then the final video is going to be a little bit more of explanation about the Vancouver Real Estate Club.